You know, sometimes you can look at just one single day in a country's history and see its entire future laid out. That's what we're doing today. We're looking at August 26, 2025, a day that on the surface looked like a huge crisis for India, but underneath, it revealed a whole new path forward.
So the day kicks off with a real shockwave. News just breaks. There's this huge, direct economic threat coming from one of India's biggest trading partners. The markets felt it, exporters were panicking, and the government knew it had to move and move fast.
And what was at the heart of it all? This number, 50%. The U.S. drops a bombshell, announcing it's slapping a massive new tariff on most of the goods coming in from India. This wasn't some tiny tweak. This was a potential sledgehammer aimed right at the heart of India's export economy.
So, a massive tariff, a geopolitical standoff. You'd be forgiven for thinking, okay, that's the whole story right there. But it's not even close. What else happened on this exact same day paints a much more interesting picture of where India is really going.
All right. So first things first, let's break down that initial shock. This American tariff wall, it felt like it went up overnight, and it sent these massive ripples across the entire Indian economy.
And just so we're all on the same page here, what's a tariff? Well, it's basically just a tax on imports. The idea is to make Indian goods 50% more expensive in the US so American consumers are less likely to buy them. It's a way to punish the exporter, plain and simple.
And the fallout? It was immediate. The official reason given was India's stance on Russian oil, which, is a clear sign of geopolitical arm twisting. Right away, analysts started warning about a potential 11% hit to the markets, and you can bet exporters were just bracing for a massive drop in orders as trade talks just fell apart.
But here's the thing, India didn't just sit there and take it. Nope, the government went from defense straight to offense, rolling out this really clear, multi-part strategy to soften the blow and, well, fight back.
And the response was super practical. On one hand, you have immediate financial help for the people getting hit the hardest, the exporters. We're talking tax cuts, new incentives, that kind of thing. But on the other hand, there was this much bigger, long-term play. They decided to double down, and I mean really double down, on the Made in India push to build up strength from the inside.
And this right here is where the story blows up way beyond just tariffs. See, this shock from the outside wasn't just some problem that needed a quick fix. It was actually hitting the fast-forward button on a huge shift in India's whole economic and foreign policy game plan.
Think about it. For years and years, the playbook was a heavy reliance on the U.S. market. But this crisis, it just threw that playbook out the window. The new goal, the new top priority, became what's called strategic autonomy. Basically, the freedom to call your own shots. And that meant getting aggressive about finding new trading partners so that no single country could ever have this much power over them again.
And this whole push for self-reliance, it wasn't just some dry economic policy. On the very same day, that exact same idea was making headlines in a totally different world, a world of steel and firepower.
Get this. On that exact same day, the Indian Navy brings two brand-new stealth frigates into service, the INS Udaygiri and Himgiri. Someone even described them as being like a floating F-35. That gives you an idea of the tech leap we're talking about. And the crucial part? They were a product of that Make in India defense initiative. All of a sudden, the theme of the day becomes crystal clear: self-reliance, in business and in battle.
Okay, but hold on, because here comes the biggest twist of the entire day. While one major world power was busy building walls, other global giants were placing massive bets on India, pouring in billions and showing a completely different kind of confidence.
What's that number? That's $2.5 billion. That's Apple's new investment to seriously ramp up its iPhone production inside India. So on a day that's supposed to be all doom and gloom for trade, one of the biggest companies on the planet is basically saying, we're not just staying, we're hitting the accelerator.
And it wasn't just in manufacturing either. Look at the super-regulated banking sector. Japan's Sumitomo Mitsui gets the green light for a nearly 25% stake in Yes Bank. Now you have to understand, the typical cap for foreign ownership is way down at 15%. This move just blows past that. It was a massive signal that India was getting serious about opening up its financial sector.
And just think about the sheer scale of what Apple is doing here. Their goal is to produce 60 million iPhones in India every single year. This just perfectly captures the other side of the day's story, right? A huge chunk of those phones are for export, which turns India into an even more important global manufacturing hub at the very moment its old export model was under fire. Okay, so let's just take a breath and put this all together.
We've got tariffs, we've got warships, we've got major banking reforms, and a huge tech investment, all happening in a single 24-hour period. They might seem totally random, but when you look at them together, they create this single, incredible picture of a nation at a turning point.
What we're really looking at is a day of wild contrasts. You've got this intense geopolitical squeeze coming from the outside. At the same time, there's a doubling down on military self-reliance from the inside. And while that's going on, the doors are being thrown wide open for foreign money and global manufacturing. Oh, and as if that wasn't enough, on the same day, a top minister announces that India is on track to become a world leader in wind energy. Just another layer of forward-looking ambition thrown into the mix.
So when you lay it all out like this, you really see the whole story. Every single one of these headlines is a piece of the puzzle. You've got the pressure from the tariffs and the reaction to it. You've got the push for self-defense and green energy. You have the financial system opening up, and you've got this huge vote of confidence from big tech. It's like a snapshot of a country being pulled in one direction and pushing back in another, all while carving out a brand new path for itself.
Which leaves us with the big question, right? Was this day, August 26, 2025, a moment of crisis? The day India's weaknesses were laid bare? Or was it the catalyst, the very thing that forced India to speed up its transformation into a more self-reliant, more diverse, and more globally important power? Honestly, the answer is probably a little bit of both. And that's exactly what makes this single day so incredibly important to understand.